Hey dancers, check out our new website and get 10% off on our new gender equity handbook.
Go to degenderdance.com and use code DANCE10. Let's go.
5, 6, 7, 8. Rock step, triple step, rock step, cha-cha-cha, rock step, cha-cha-cha.
Hi, my name's Kate and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name is Lou and my pronouns are also they, them.
Just two they, thems talking about dance.
Dance and stuff. Kate, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about dance, but we're also talking about decentering men.
Oh, one of my favorite topics. I
Me
love
too.
talking about decentering men. Yeah.
We do talk about this a lot, so we thought, why not talk about it publicly?
It's especially since partner dance has been something that has centered men for so long. I think that having a decentering men practice is something that can be really helpful alongside our partner dance practices.
Definitely. I feel like we're all on different journeys of like different parts of the journey of decentering men. And I feel like it's not just for people who don't identify as men. Like if you're a man, you can also decenter toxic masculinity. Like that's available to you too. So we can all do this and it feels fucking awesome.
It does feel really good. It's very empowering for,
Yeah.
I think, anyone who experiences stepping away from like this need to pedestalize and go along with the leadership of this one charismatic man. Like, why do we do that? Why can't we all be empowered to be leaders?
Yes, exactly. Where did your journey start? Like what prompted your journey of decentering men and where are you at now? Like what's shifted for you?
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely had the heteronormative brainwashing that so many people have for so long. I think especially as millennials, as elder millennials, we grew up during like the Renaissance, like the Disney Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
And like Beauty and the Beast was like driven into my brain. And I was like, this is what it is. I put up with this angry man and that's how I get to have a nice castle. And I, for a very long time, was like, I'm going to get married and have a kid and stuff like that. And then like somewhere in my mid-20s, I was like, wait, that's not me. That's not what I want. And I like looked around at the world and what my life was shaping up to be. And I was like, I don't think that trad wifey trajectory is just in my trajectory. Like, I just don't think that that's what it's going to be. I still think I was centering men until for another decade, until my mid-30s, when I went through just like so many bosses, so many boyfriends, so many situationships, like so many things where I just made a man or a man's interest my like whole world.
Right.
Because that meant that I got like safety or partnership or companionship or proximity to power, or just felt like I was, on the right path, or just found it super activating or whatever. It just felt like if I wasn't focusing some man in the center of my life, I would do things like panic and find another one to replace it, because my life just like felt empty unless I was focusing on a man.
Yes.
Have you had that? Like, has it been that kind of same experience for you, Kate?
I'm laughing because like I felt like be like, nope, not me. Only because the irony is that I think that if we're honest, every single person has experienced centering male validation. And like I said before, I think all genders do this because of the patriarchy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But 100%, I definitely, the first thing I thought of when I was listening to you speak was, of course, listening to your experience, but also relating it to my own. And for me, what I thought of was just the lineage of women and female presenting people and femmes having this passed down to them.
Yeah.
And that's certainly what happened from a very young age in my life, was witnessing my parents and their relationship, having that as like, there's like this kind of grumpy dude that centered everything. And it wasn't just him that centered himself. We all went and circled around him to make that kind of work. And fast forward to my like early teens, like right as I'm coming of age, I am immediately, without any consciousness, just seeking male validation.
Yeah.
Almost instantly, as soon as I moved from like schoolyard stuff to that. And it didn't really start turning around for me until like the pandemic, actually. It was a mix of like being around more queer people and just seeing different perspectives, but also being around more artists and having the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic forced me to just be with myself. That in tandem with being around different perspectives really started to open my mind. But it's slow and it's been very hard won. And now what's happening is I'm looking back and just seeing the like sea of men that I have centered my entire life around, ranging from like lovers all the way to like long-term bosses, and just so many people that were centered culturally, but I also actively turned towards centering them because that's all I knew how to do.
What I've really experienced too is these baby steps away. And then, yes, like you're saying, looking back and then seeing like a tidal wave of like, Jesus Christ, what was I doing, 23-year-old Lou? Like, oh my God, like we were really chasing something that was not in our best interest, but felt like the only way to be able to survive and be able to like actualize myself was to be able to get attention or support from like X, Y, and Z guy.
Yes.
Either because like he had the business that was going to be the thing that was actually going to support me, or because I was hoping to get married one day. Like I gave those men so many hours of my time. It was really interesting for me because I really started my decentering practice right around the same time I started partner dancing.
Oh, interesting.
I definitely went through a trajectory that I see a lot of people who show up to partner dance do, where people who are maybe not very femme when they show up will have a large femme like wave of appearance. And I definitely did that for a couple of years. I grew my hair real long. I was wearing like long eyeliner, like very pointy long eyeliner and stuff like that.
The cat eye. Yeah.
I like really enjoyed that. I enjoyed looking that way. I go through times of being more and less femme, and I do not always dress femme for the male gaze, but I did feel a lot of pressure to dress for the male gaze, or I didn't get dances when I showed up to start dancing. And it wasn't until I started leading that I felt that pressure come off, and I started just wearing whatever I wanted to dance socials.
Yeah, I think that happened. I don't know that I would have said that, but I think that happened for me too when I started focusing on leading. I've actually had the opportunity too recently to follow more, and it is like it was my first love, but it's such a different experience to experience following without those constraints. It's like, whoa, it's really fucking awesome. But I do think that, well, we've talked about it before, that partner dance really does have the ability to unpack stuff for us if we allow it to. And so, of course, decentering men is one of those things that all genders dance, right? But we can start to break away from this total adherence to what one man or several men are, what we think they're wanting out of us.
Yeah, yeah. And that's even like, I have felt that pressure just being someone standing at the side of a dance social, hoping to get asked to dance, and have also felt that pressure in like making myself useful to organizers, trying to find a way. Like often this anxiety has come up in times where I feel like unless I am finding a way to make myself useful, that I like don't have a right to exist. So I'll just like find myself giving away a lot of labor so that I can feel valid in these circles. And that's not something that I necessarily actually need to be doing in community.
Right. Well, and I think it's interesting because that's like one major way that we center men is by being of service. Yeah. And like uplifting their mission and like what it is that they want to do. And like that hasn't been my particular slant in a lot of ways, but one slant that started very early, I noticed in partner dance, and it just happens, this is more my direct way to play it out, is I like to be good.
Mm, yeah.
So it's like I have felt a lot of discomfort being a follow that takes up space, that moves more slowly, that likes to like finish a move in a juicy way before moving on to the next thing. And so many leads that are men are out there just like move, 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 move. And I felt so much shame around not wanting to do that. I've wanted
Yeah.
to be something for them in the partnership of dance. And stepping away from that feels really good, but it also means there's not as many people to dance with as a follow.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a huge difference between dancing for yourself when you're following and dancing for the man who's leading with you. Like those are two different, completely different ways to be dancing. And it's like, yeah, are you slowing down and taking up space and moving and doing what feels good in your body and moving slow enough to stay grounded in that? Or are you trying to like control your body weight as much as possible to be able to survive all of these multiple spins and like, holy shit, a dip's
Right.
coming at the end, like, and you have to giggle all the way through it and smile even if you feel a little uncomfortable. And
Right.
it's like it's literally like an epigenetic trick of our nervous systems because it's literally been so many generations. And I'm actually like so proud of of like humanity that we're starting to really grow beyond this and be able to see it.
Yes. Yes. And I think we're gonna like talk about the wider lens of like this shit exists everywhere in the world.
Mhm.
And one thing I'm always trying to like bring men into the conversation. Like that has always been really important to me because if we are only here whisper networking femme to femme or like queer to queer, then we don't actually get to involve the other side of the spectrum, which is that like I'm thinking about the Epstein files.
Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
like the people that are most egregiously affected by that are women.
Absolutely.
However, there were people that were named in the Epstein files that were like huge, like icons of male zeitgeist. Like, like somebody like Noam Chomsky is somebody
Yeah.
that like dudes just like unanimously fucking love that guy.
Mhm.
And then their like hero is completely let down. So it's like for men, it's not just about decentering men, it's about being able to move away from the toxicity of these structures of power.
Yeah,
And for women, and femmes and queers, it's all about being able to say, no, I'm not going to be that kind of servant for your power structure
absolutely.
again, like ever again. And so for me, it's just like I've had this mantra when in dance in the world, I'm not going to turn against myself for someone else's mission.
I love that.
And I've had to say it a million times for it to start to make sense. But the cool thing is it makes sense now. It starts to make sense. You just have to actually do the looking away, like the turning away from that to something else.
I like that you bring up Epstein because I have been watching the formula that is Epstein repeated over and over and over again, where we have this normally a charismatic white man at the center of a community, and they are surrounded by a bunch of women and femmes and queer people or adoring men that are doing all of the emotional labor for them. It will normally end up being that that leader, he has the power, like he's either the one with like the knowledge or the money or the space or whatever to be able to command the community, and he'll make decisions that then create harm, and then the women, femmes, adoring men around him will then need to do all the emotional labor to fix that harm because we have rationalized that he needs to be the person in charge.
Oh, yeah. That's on a huge scale and on small scale happening in the dance community.
I know,
Absolutely.
like, I can name like 4 dance communities that run like that within like 100-mile radius of where I am right now. Like, it's just
I'm
wild.
like,
And they're all
4.
over the world. And they're like all, and it's not just dance communities. It's like so much of our society functions like this. And like literally our civilization has been built like this. And
Yes.
now we're like finally getting the language to be able to talk about it and see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's definitely it's normalized because of what we're getting out of being in their presence.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
we're getting something. And so I think a big part of what you're naming is that there's like buy-in to doing that labor, and there's buy-in to being there. And part of the buy-in is that we're literally brainwashed to think that these are good people.
And that they're the only people, because even when the veil starts to come off, then it's like, well, but I have to put up with them because they own the
Exactly.
ballroom. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I would love to hear from you what like because so many of these experiences, like so many of us echo the same experiences. Can you tell me what you think that maybe the average femme dancers experience might be from showing up to their first dance social to starting
Yeah.
to realize that maybe it's not a great idea to be experiencing it this way?
Well, and I think I think it's shifted in 2 ways since I started.
Mm-hmm.
It has become more safe, period. It has become less egregiously, literally dangerous
Mm-hmm.
to be femme presenting
Yeah.
or queer,
Mm-hmm.
or just to be different, not to be like the center of things. It's gotten safer, but it's also become more like coded in safety. So it's like we talk about safety, but it's actually not safer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But I think the average experience is you go, you have fun, and you might not really do it for long.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other experience where people get really hooked. I don't think the average person who takes a few dance classes really sticks with it.
Yeah.
I think
But that feeling of being hooked is pretty like but the people who have been hooked, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes. Yes. And I think for femmes, you do get hooked by being taken under somebody's wing,
Mm-hmm.
often being in that power dynamic of like usually male teacher kind of like giving you some kind of either instruction or praise. It's either, it could be good or bad feedback, but you're getting this kind of hit of male attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of doing like either going down a performance route or wanting to be better and getting into a cycle of validation. And I think that is what causes femmes to feel burnt out really quickly, but also to not really understand what has happened. Because when you're new to dance, you're like, I don't know what this is supposed to be like. And so then you experience it and you're just like, well, I guess this is it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's also like what you're the naming too is that it's very easy to groom people in this scenario, because it's always like, I want to be a better dancer. Not that we believe that this is a value in dance, but normally in some of these dance communities, the need will be to show up and become a better dancer. So if you want to be a better dancer, then who are you looking to?
Mm-hmm.
The person that's a better dancer in the room. So then he's more experienced. And especially if you've never danced before, that dip at the end felt really exciting.
Right.
And it's not until 6 years later when you learn a little bit more like about dance where you're like, whoa, you should not be dipping someone like that on their first few socials.
Exactly. And like when I look back at the first few socials, it was like I had men telling me what to do basically every other dance.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's that all the way up to like 16-year-olds that have been trained to be dancers and then go to like a larger company of like a really well-known salsa company that has literally a track record of grooming young women. And it happens to young boys too, or young, girls and boys. So there's a range of how that can happen, but it is extremely common to go and be manipulated and taken under the wing. The guise is I take you under my wing, but what's really happening is grooming. So I want to switch gears just a little bit and get into like the actual decentering men and how we do that. Is there anything you want to share about your experience with actually decentering men in your community?
Yeah, there's this one story that comes up a lot when I think about decentering men. There's this one person, a man, obviously, that is in a community that I know of, and whenever it's like a big event, they get very visibly, viciously angry and upset, and they will be very like they'll do things like you'll see them kind of walking around really upset and just looking really like nervous and freaked out, and you'll be things like, hey, check in with them, like, hey, are you okay? Oh, I'll have to bleep that out. And
I was like ready to celebrate that.
they'll be like, hey, are you okay? And he'd be like, no, I'm so stressed out. Like, oh God, this is blah, blah, blah. Normally it's the women that will check in on someone when they look
Of
really
course.
upset. And then normally when someone gives you like this, oh God, I'm so stressed out. I've barely slept. I have to do all these things and like he like unloads in this. Normally what we do is we like go into a fawn and we start being like, oh, I'm so sorry. That sounds really hard. And now he's getting all this emotional labor to help him be able to get through this weekend. And I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of the people that have experience with this person. And we're just kind of like, we're going to stop doing that. We're just going to not. We're going to be like, cool, have fun, man.
Yeah.
And just when we see him upset, we're just going to like give him room. And
yes, that's it.
Like that is like hard too, because now we have like this person who's like leading and creating our event, basically acting like a toddler. And it's tough because we want to do something to soothe that and make it better, or to do things to help him, to make it easier for him so that we don't have a toddler throwing a tantrum in the middle of our event. He's never going to learn how to soothe his own emotions if people are always doing that for him.
Well, that's it. And like what I'm really hearing is just how wrong the association of emotionality with women is, and that a lot of what we're dealing with is like an extreme outpouring of male emotionality that we are just so accustomed to dealing with and fixing, basically.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then there is an explosion of anger sometimes later, because who could deal with that their whole lives and not be angry, So it's like, I what I'm really hearing, and I want to echo that this is my experience too, that there's usually a star and a bunch of women that are running around in the background propping that up.
Yeah.
And so like, I love hearing that, like, give them some space. And I think that's what it is just disengaging. Decentering is what I'm hearing is disengaging from going into fawn and just being like, well, I'm sure you'll figure it out, and then walking away.
Yeah. And then go doing your own thing. What makes you happy? Where else can your energy be poured into instead of making whatever his problem is better?
Okay. So just to kind of like connect the dots between something I was sharing about earlier and a big part of what decentering men isn't. We can decenter men by canceling them and just like not involving ourselves with men at all. That's definitely an option. But the issue with canceling them as leaders in the community and exiling them is they're men. They have power. They just go do that somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not a part of my values, because I don't believe in punitive justice. I believe in restorative justice. And punitive justice is canceling somebody and just removing them and exiling them, as you said. And yeah, it doesn't work, because there's literally somebody who is a pretty high profile person in the Lindy Hop Society who got Me Too'd. And he literally did a defamation suit against the person who spoke out about her story, and he lost. And even after that, he has his own swing community to this day that many people dance at and many people don't.
Right.
And I wonder what would have looked like if there had been societal structure that maybe could have supported more healing through that moment instead of a rupture, especially back during the Me Too movement. That was not something that there, in dance communities, there was no structure for that. A lot has been attempted to be built since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that you're bringing that up because it isn't just about trying to stop unhealthy communities from building in unsafe situations. It's also like a humanity issue. We're talking about people here, and there's pain that needs to be healed. And it's not just femmes that need to heal. It's also men that need to heal. And they're just taking it out on everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really heartbreaking.
Because they're told that they're supposed to have power over everybody. And that's also painful on them. I mean, to bring it back to Jeffrey Epstein, I don't think he was having a good time. I don't think he was having a good,
disturbed.
deeply, you can see it in his body language that he is not physically happy person.
Not okay. Really not okay.
Yeah. And that happens to anyone who tries to oppress others. And what we need to do is all find our personal liberation.
100%. So we kind of got to this place.
Mm-hmm.
What is the takeaway? Like, what's a takeaway on decentering men?
I think that show up to the dance floor for you and for holding community for anyone else who wants to celebrate you, and you can celebrate them at the same time.
Yes, I love that. Come to dance for you, because so much of the reason people come to dance is to actually play out their trauma. And when we actually show up to it in our autonomy and with ourselves in mind, we can treat each other way better. We don't have to be of service to that energy. And for those of you that may be listening that are in a position of power, I also think, there's a takeaway here for you too, which is why is this so ingrained? What can be done to start to unwind these
and
patterns?
What can you do to decenter yourself? What can you do to promote the people around you instead of you being the person that's in the center? How can you make your leadership more lateral instead of everything pointing to you? How can you empower everybody? Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right. I think that's, now that we've solved all the problems, that's it for us today.
That's it for us today. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, as usual.
Okay, thanks for tuning in.
And you can check out all the stuff that we have cooked up for you on our website on how to decolonize the dance world. It's degenderdance.com.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ooh, ah, jazz hands.